Why do you hate Brits so much? Like, why?
First of all, I love England. Some of my best friends are British, Black British. What I hate is, and you can chime in here, is that Black British people, I find, have a lot of commentary and opinions about Black Americans without actually knowing what they're talking about. And I think
Expand.
So in England, you guys consume American media.
Correct.
A lot. Black British people consume Black American movies, TV,
Correct.
film, music.
And you guys don't consume ours.
We have zero exposure to Black Brits.
And that's a problem. We have to admit that's actually a problem.
Zero. So, but the thing is, the way you're able to admit that, a lot of Black British people I encounter online are like, well, no, we have so much in common. Da, da, da. I'm like, okay, fundamentally, we're all Black.
Yes. Okay.
I think let's get to a threshold.
Yeah.
We're all Black.
Yeah.
We live in 2 white countries.
Unfortunately.
Right? But unlike Black Brits, Black Americans are foundational Americans because they've been here since the 1500s. And what baffles me is that so much of Black Brits are Caribbean and they have the same exact origin as us.
Yeah.
And Africans, obviously, the second highest demographic of Black Brits. And it's just like, why do you guys think you know so much about us and you don't?
No, okay, so I think that's why I will challenge you. It's not that we think we know so much. We've consumed so much media. So remember that.
Yeah.
And that seems to be the problem. They consume so much Black media, but a lot of that Black media is propaganda. And that propaganda contains negative stereotypes about Black people. And this is why you see a lot of different immigrants, whether they're immigrants in America or whether they're living in another country and they're not immigrants. They see a lot of negative stereotypes. They don't see the Black super culture in America because nobody tries to mimic anybody else. Black people, we don't try to mimic anybody else because we have our own culture. We have a way of doing everything. We're doing things. And we've been in America since the 1500s. So this is a concern about why Black people delineate themselves from other people and from other cultures, because we are a super culture, a global super culture. We don't need to mimic anybody else. Who do we mimic? Caribbeans? No. Jamaicans? No. Cubans? No. Mexicans? No. Somalians? No. We don't mimic anybody. They mimic us. And that's the difference. Let's go on with the
consumed a lot of media, so we think we have some grasp of culture, understanding, and knowledge.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the disparity comes, because it's like, well, we're the same in our eyes, versus you're like, no, we know nothing about you guys
at all,
and we don't want to be likened because there are actual differences. Some people can acknowledge that there's differences, and some people can't.
That's the problem. The latter half of those people who don't understand that there are differences. And it's like, okay, if I tell you online, hey, we're not the same, why would you be like, yes, we are?
No, we're not. And because we have a distinct culture in America. Understand, American culture is Black culture. Black culture is American culture. And that's the difference. British culture, Black British people, that's English Britain culture. That's all they have. They don't have the culture that we have and the culture that is global. Nobody says, I want to be like a Black British person or a Black Caribbean person. No. Most people mimic Black people all over this globe. That's the difference.
But this is the thing, like, language matters, and I think we're being pedantic. So when they say like we're the same, I think they mean we're Black, right? Let's fundamentally agree that we're Black. The issue is that a lot of people in the UK are either Caribbean, they're African, they're whatever they are, versus a lot of Americans online. Again, we're speaking about the online population here, not the people that know each other. Those online are like, no, I'm American. I'm from Texas. And grasping that,
it's hard for a Black Brit. But that's why I say, for Black Brits too, though, because that's why I say, like, you don't really understand.
Yeah.
Because when you say we're alike, and it's like, the comparison or the comparative analysis is always Black Brits to Black Americans.
Which
and
should
it's
not be
one to one.
No, it's not apples to apples.
It's Black Americans to Jamaicans, or
Correct.
Black Americans
Correct.
to Dominicans or
Correct.
Haitians. And I think that's the biggest issue I have. That's the,
And you also hate Black British food.
First of all, excuse
here we
me,
go.
there is no such thing as Black British food.
And I
There
can
is
And that is true. There's no thing as Black British food. Black British people eat what British eat. They don't have their own culture. They don't have their own food. And in terms of comparison, there's no comparison of Black people to other Black cultures in this world, if you can call them that. There's no comparison. They don't have the arts. They don't have the entertainment. They don't have the sports heroes. They don't have the politicians that Black Americans have in Black America. So there's no comparison. And I don't know why people try to chime in, to compare themselves to Black people or Black Americans. There is no comparison. And there will never be a comparison between Black Americans on any level to other Black cultures throughout this world, even Caribbeans. We don't act like Caribbeans. We don't act like British. We have our own culture, which is a global super culture. And I've said that many a times. And you can't be on that level of Black excellence in America. You just can't. And you can't compare yourself to it. Let's go on with the interview here.
It's Jamaican food, Ghanaian food,
Nigerian food, Indian
food. What? Give me one Black British dish. Just because you put jollof rice and jerk chicken on a plate together does not mean it's Black British. That's not what that means.
I'm not disagreeing. There is
Okay.
a Black British food.
Okay.
But I think, again, language matters here. There are
Yeah.
food that Africans, Caribbeans, etc. eat in the UK. And I think we're just merging two things. That's honestly the truth. We're just merging two things.
my last request to the Black
here we
British
go.
to be
Request.
unmerge unmerge the two, because the two are not the same. So when we say Black,
This guy is right. Unmerge it, because it can't be merged. You can't merge yourself with the Black American culture, because there's different levels of culture and acceptance all over the world. Again, there's different levels of acceptance as far as the culture is concerned in America and all over this globe. Don't compare, don't merge, because there can't be any merging. Because when you try to merge, you compare yourself to the Black American experience. And no other group, no other race in this world can compare themselves. So unmerge.
American food,
Yeah.
Black American food is equal to Jamaican food or Brazilian food, because Black American food was created here
Yeah.
by formerly enslaved people starting in the 1500s.
I would encourage, I think the one thing I would encourage is I need Black Americans to learn a little bit more about Black British culture.
For sure.
And I think that is where
But
the
what is
frustration comes.
what is Black British
But this is
culture?
a great question. And I think Black British culture for us is the merging of Caribbean, like the Caribbean slave trade. Everyone knows about that.
Yeah.
What happened with the African slave trade? There's so much history in the UK
For sure, 1000%.
that Americans are unaware of. And I think
America-
that
There have been so many negative stereotypes spoken about of Black Americans. So we don't want to merge. We don't want to learn your history. You learn our history. And this is a problem with immigrants coming over to America. They don't learn the Black history, the Black American history. They don't learn it. And they don't want to learn it. And this is why we delineate ourselves. We don't want to learn your culture. We don't have to. We have our own culture. And our own culture is here, and a lot of other cultures are down here. So therefore, no, we don't want to learn. And I say this, we don't want to learn because we hear all the negative propaganda that you guys accept about Black Americans. And we have said enough is enough. We want to delineate ourselves from British people, from Somalian people, from Caribbean people, because we are a special group in America. There's no other group in this world like Black Americans. So therefore, we don't want to merge. We want to unmerge. We want to delineate ourselves from other cultures in this world. So we're saying, don't even go there. Don't even try to merge. Don't even try to compare. Because all you guys have done in other cultures, other Black cultures all over this world, is say, oh, we know how Black people are. And listen to the sound bites and the stereotypes. And that's how you feel that you're part of, you want to compare yourself, you want to merge yourself for some reason because you think you're on the same level as Black Americans. And this is a soundbite. Take this one. You're not on the same level as Black Americans. Believe it. And stop putting yourself on that level. Stop associating yourself with our struggle in Black America. There's no other group, ethnic group in this world that can say, hey, we went through the same things as Black people. And I mean specifically those Black cultures, so-called Black cultures throughout the world. You can't.
But
It's
black,
the frustration
but
with
Americans,
Black
but Black Americans are aware of Caribbean history because it's the same as ours.
Some people are aware of it.
Some, right?
But I think Americans as a whole, not just even Black Americans, I think Americans, the country,
1000%.
America can do a better job of understanding the Black British experience, the African British experience, the Caribbean British experience, because it's all different
But
things.
I would ask you this question. I'll propose you this.
Sure.
How would we learn more? Because we have no exposure. This is why I'm doing this conversation.
No, this is
And
great.
I think Black British people don't realize the rate of exposure you guys have.
It's 1,000%. I watched MTV Cribs growing up.
You watch Family Matters. You watch Nickelodeon.
You guys started watching Love Island.
Come on.
But that's a reality show. And I think that's the thing. You have to go out and seek the knowledge.
Yeah.
The same way I think we did a good job, like in our schools, we taught history. So like we were forced to learn American history. And I don't think
we're not forced to learn. So I think
we're not forced to learn
one of the points I do want to drive with this conversation to even spark it is Black Americans are really taught their own history. And you live here now and you see 10
years.
They're erasing critical race theory. They're erasing all the things that we learned. So there's zero exposure already to England, but TikTok is the only place that we've become hyper aware of each other.
And hypersensitive.
Because, and I will say this, it's not all Black Brits, but Black Brits on podcasts.
And let me say this, and I've said this before. My great-grandmother was born 20 years out of slavery. My grandmother was born in 1915. My great-grandmother was born about 1985, about 20 years out of slavery. Grandmother was born 1915. Mother and father was born in 1936 and 1938. So they have passed on that knowledge. I had a chance to talk to my great-grandmother just briefly and talk to my grandmother a lot, talk to my mother a lot, and they have passed on information. They have passed on our history in America. And so that's why a lot of us are so grounded about learning our own history in America. We see it all the time. We see it on movies. We see it at the theater. We see it just about everywhere. So we know who we are. We know who we are. And we know what kind of power we have in America. We know we are the moral majority in America as Black Americans. We understand that. We know that. So therefore, we have basically did what we have to do to understand ourselves in America. We had to look at that person in the mirror, that Black American in the mirror, and dig deep down, not just surface-wise, just not cosmetically, but we had to learn about ourselves deep down to understand who we are and what place we held in America. Who are we in America? We had to learn that. It's been taught to us for 400 years.
Go online and just talk about Black Americans.
Can we erase the podcast culture?
And here too, I need Black Americans a podcast to go away.
I need everyone to just there should be a tax on podcast mics.
Yeah.
But no, I think Black Brits and African Brits, whatever you want to identify as, I think we can do a much better job of coming online and talking about our history and talking about our journey.
Yeah. I think for me, you know, if Black British people went online and talked about the Black British experience,
I agree,
through their lens, this conversation will be so different.
I feel like there are people who talk about it. You just have to find them.
Well,
and it's not your podcasters.
No.
It's not your podcasters.
But the point of view that we always get or seem to come across our FYP is Black British people comparing themselves to Americans and then talking about that experience, which is not the same.
It's not the same at all. And I think that...
And it's not the same at all. Again, don't compare yourselves in other countries, Black Brits, don't compare yourself to Black America because it's something totally different. We are totally different. We have a totally different experience as you do in Britain. We don't have the same experience. And this seems to be one of the problems. When you start comparing yourself, you start to take the pros and the cons instead of focusing on the more important issues on how we evolved in certain cultures and certain countries, how you evolved. But a lot of the times, what this young man is saying here is that they always talk about the pros and cons of each culture or each country. And usually when you talk about the pros and cons of each country, what you do and you focusing mainly on the propaganda that you hear, because a lot of you just hear media sound bites. And where are those sound bites coming from about Black Americans? They're coming from the white media because the white media controls most of the media, unless you tune in to a specific channel that features Black people and Black history. But there's not too many of those channels. Yes, we have our own Black media companies, and that's what people should be focusing on if you want to know more about Black Americans. Let's go on with the interview here, and we'll wrap it up in a few.
That's all polarizing. I think oftentimes...
Extremely.
I think oftentimes it's polarizing and it's unfair.
Yeah.
Because I know so many other people who have a more educated stance.
Like us.
On the Black...
And you know, I receive a lot of hate.
I be cussing you too.
I receive a lot of hate. But, you know, like I said, people hear my accent, and this happens to me only in the UK. It's very xenophobic over there. They hear my accent and they're like, "Oh, you never even left America. You never left." And I was like, "Have y'all seen my passport?"
But remember, assumptions are coming from what we consume.
No,
right?
1%.
So this is the other thing.
1,000%.
So while
1,000%.
people are giving you hate, it's from things that they consume. It's the same way I come to the US and there's a whole like, "Do you eat bangers and mash?" Like,
tea and crumpets.
Whatever. And I'm just like, wait, you're creating stereotypes from what you've consumed.
Although she does fancy a full English.
Wow. Yes, a full English is sensational.
She does fancy a full English.
A full English is sensational.
Are you guys kidding me?
I'm sorry.
We don't even know what a crumpet is. Okay. We've seen it on the media. Maybe that's one of the problems. But we don't see British people, Black British people talking about their Black experience in Britain. And that's what the problem is. I don't know if there's any media, Black media outlets in England that talk about Black British or Black British culture. I've never seen it. So maybe there is. We don't know, and we don't really care.
But we were sparkling like jollof rice and, you know.
Here we go. And that's the last one I want to make. So I got all this crash out online because I talked about British food, right? And Black British people were like the only ones online making response videos. And I said, you would never find me, someone who's both Haitian and Black American,
Yeah.
coming online and defending raisins and potato salad
So
from
first
the
and
Midwest.
foremost, first and foremost,
Ever.
I don't identify with the raisins and mashed potato culture.
Well, you're not, because you're not American. That's what I'm saying. That's the equivalent for me. Black people in the UK crashing out because we don't like beans on toast, or
Beans on toast
or
are
cheese, beans,
sensational.
and tuna.
Wait. Beans on toast is sensational.
Beans on toast is sensational.
Look, beans on toast, yeah?
Yeah.
Look, there's certain things we're not going to agree on because I don't like soul food. And some people are like,
Listen. At a threshold,
I don't like soul
you
food.
grew up in the UK.
I did.
So there are things that you would love that I would never
Correct.
love, and I grew up here.
Do you
so
not
there are
like an
things.
English breakfast?
Absolutely not. I would die before I ate an English breakfast.
And we've seen English breakfast, and it's not good. Well, I've tasted English breakfast, and it's not good. And we don't like beans on toast. We just don't. Two different kinds of textures. You put it on toast, which is kind of crusty, and you put beans on it with sauce, and then it makes the bread mushy. We don't like things that make the bread mushy, and it's an oxymoron to us. Beans on toast. And no, we don't go for that. And is that the extent of your English breakfast with sausage? No, we would never eat English breakfast. Never.
I'm actually going to the UK.
Do you like Nigerian breakfast?
I'm actually going to the UK in 2 weeks. I'm going to do a food series. I told you.
Yeah.
Because I asked
Do
you
you
for
like
places.
Nigerian breakfast?
I don't know. I don't know Nigerian
It's like
breakfast.
yam and eggs.
Oh yeah. I love that.
Oh, okay. It's a bit of plantain.
Yeah. That's what we eat
And
to Haiti.
stew. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. It's like cultures are so different, and I think the UK Black British experience merges a lot of cultures.
Yeah.
And I think that's the frustration that's coming
But
across.
I think the disconnect too is like in America, when you're black, you're black. And so we're not like, I don't identify with white Americans on most things culturally, but it seems like Black British people identify as being British.
I always am Nigerian though first.
But see, I said that based on my experience.
Yeah.
People in the UK
But
are
my accent, people tell me I'm British.
But then I've always said, and people online are like, no, we're British. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Because in America, I'm black before I'm anything. You
But
know?
this is the thing. When I come here, I'm black before I'm anything. And then they hear me speak and they're like, oh, no,
Oh,
she's
you're British. Yeah,
so no one is even identifying the fact that I'm
And that's part of the difference too. We're black before anything, and I can't say we don't associate with the white cultures, but we're in America and we're part of the white culture as well. But our black culture comes first. We're first Black Americans. In Britain, you're English first. You're British first, instead of being Black British first, or your Black British culture. But you don't have a Black British culture. So what do you identify with? You identify with the white British culture. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you do that, then you've got to build your own culture. You've got to identify with Black British culture, or develop a Black British culture. And we don't see that. We have developed that as Black Americans, as a Black culture. And by us identifying with that, we have become the global culture, or the global superculture all over this world. Again, you don't hear people saying, I want to be like a Black British. I want to be like a Somalian. I want to be like a Caribbean. I want to be like a Jamaican. You're not going to hear that, because Black people have their own identity and their own culture in America. And we don't have to seek out and validate anybody else's culture all over this world.
complex and multi-layered, and we're not a monolith. Like there's not just like this.
Nowhere in the world. And I think the more we have these conversations, and the more we can speak to each other, is the better this will be.
Okay.
We'll be back.
At least we don't hate each other.
We'll be back to talk about more. You guys drop in the comments what you think about what we talked about.
All right, coffee.
And that's the thing. Let me say this in conclusion. There's a big difference, and people need to understand that Black people are different. Black people are a special culture. We're a different people. We're not like British. We're not like Somalians. We're not like Mexicans. We're not like any other culture or POC or people of color in this world. We're not. And I wish people would stop comparing themselves to the Black culture, because there is no comparison. And there will never be no comparison. You cannot compare yourself to a global super culture. And if you do, you're going to maybe you'll find out who you are, exactly who you are. Let's end it at that. Have a good evening. Please subscribe to the channel.